Many thanks for staying with us, everyone. We've been talking about the controversy over the court decision to have Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim's name enlisted on INEC list for the Ondo governorship election in place of Mr. Jegede of the PDP. Well, Mr. Wale Odushola, belonging to the faction loyal to Olusegun Mimiko, the governor of Ondo State, has been talking to us on the program. Let's continue the conversation. Yes, you were talking about the law within the premise of what this particular case recites.
Yes. So, like I was saying, I wouldn't want to talk about enforcement of other kind of judgment. If you are enforcing judgment that has to pay, that has to do with payment of money, is different. But this particular one, when you are talking of enforcement of judgment that directs a person to do an act or to restrain from doing an act, that one is basically provided for under Section 72 of the Sheriff and Civil Process Act. And what that section says is that if a person disobeys the order of a court, the judgment creditor, that's the person who that judgment favors, wants to go to court, the person can approach the court for the committer of that person who disobeys the court order. Then there are procedures. When you go to court, and when you file the application and the court find that person guilty as alleged, the court can only do one thing. The person that is a contender, the court can send the person to prison custody. The person will remain in prison custody until he purges himself of that contempt. That is the procedure. But the procedure embarked upon by Jimoh Ibrahim own fashion is highly unknown to law. You have heard about budget pardon. This is what we call judgment pardon.
What do you mean?
What I mean is this. Somebody goes to court to get a judgment. You now discover that this judgment that I got, the relief or the prayer or the relief are not enough. They did not cover some event that later happened after the judgment. You know, they got that judgment. It was after that judgment that the primary was conducted in Ondo State that brought in Jegede. It was after that judgment that Jegede's name was submitted to INEC. Now, those events were not covered by the earlier judgment. The first judgment they got, they now went back to court through the back door to get some further judgment or further order. The court now directs. And when you are talking of execution of a judgment, the court, there are two things that are bound to happen. It's either the court send the contemptor to prison or it dismisses the application.
So you are saying that the contemptor in this sense is Mr. Ibrahim?
No, INEC, they went to court to say INEC is guilty of contempt. Yeah. That INEC disobeyed the order of court.
INEC should have been
they should have committed to prison. But they didn't go for committal proceedings. That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, because it's interesting because these two men, Mr. Jegede is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim is a lawyer himself. Yes. It looks so much that this contest, largely, do you see that this contest ending before the election, such that it will allow the candidate to know their fate before the election? It looks so much that this will get very much into the election period.
Yes. Of course, it will get to that level. But the fact remains that when we are talking of interpretation of this judgment or what will happen to this judgment at appellate court, I think that one has nothing to do with the name that will be published. In the
eye of the law, Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim is the candidate of the PDP.
It's not. That's what we are saying.
No, you are saying that there is an injunction, there is a stay of execution that has been prosecuted by your group, but in the eye of the law, there is a judgment on the ground, which of course,
that's what I'm saying.
Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim has that in his custody.
Let me explain to you. You see, sometimes when you go into social media, you see Nigerians acting like lawyers, making law for themselves, giving judgment on their own. But I'm talking law now. Out of sentiment. Before now, a name has been submitted to INEC. INEC make a declaration. They came out openly to say that for now, before the court cases are resolved, that they will only recognize McAfee fashion. And based on that, INEC came to witness the primary that brought in Jegede. INEC didn't attend the primary of Jimoh Ibrahim.
Do you see your party even having a chance in this, considering the sort of persons that are in this race?
let me, before I get to that level, let me just clear this point finally. This point we are talking about. INEC came to witness the primary that brought in Jegede. They didn't attend the primary of Jimoh Ibrahim. So what I'm saying is that I just want to use that one to portray the fact that the name of Jegede, right now as I'm talking to you, is the name that is with INEC. So if a judgment now comes out to say, no, replace that name, and let somebody file an appeal and file a motion for stay and injunction, the law says that INEC must not tamper with the subject matter. If INEC does
this is the very primary you're talking about? The primary which INEC supervises?
Yes.
Monitors.
Yes, it was conducted.
But the INEC's presence is just to monitor the exercise. By law, does the implication mean that if INEC is not there, it's not legal?
It's
not valid? Is that what you're saying?
So starting is saying that I think the law says that INEC must be present. The law says INEC must be present to witness it. Yes, that's what the law says. But what I'm saying is this: for INEC not to have gone to the Jimoh Ibrahim, that shows that in the first place they didn't accept him.
Okay, before we close now, do you see your party having a chance with all of these imbroglio?
Yes. We have addressed. Okay, today we did Jegede did his own flag off.
How do you think that is going to play out?
Yes, a lot party members were there. In fact, if you see the crowd, it was massive. We have explained these things to our team supporters, and they have understood the law, what the law says. You think
the people will vote in PDP again?
Of course. People have even lost hope. APC is not even in the race. To me, those things, as far as I'm concerned, APC is no longer in the race. And don't be surprised that all these things that are happening is the handwork of APC. They want to pass through, they want to pass through the back door to get.
So APC is the one causing trouble in your party.
I'm sure this is their handwork.
Oh. Wale Odushola, member of the PDP in Ondo, said many thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just before we go, let's touch base with Ezenwa Nwagu of the Electoral Reform Group, who is in Akure. It's a scientific method they're using to monitor this election to make sure that there is no rigging in this election. Just in a few seconds, Mr. Ezenwa Nwagu, we've been trying to reach you via Skype, but let's get your view. How are you hoping to make sure that there is no rigging in the Ondo governorship election?
Well, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean, for having me. For the Ondo state election, Yaga has a project. It's called Watching the Votes. Watching the Votes will adopt the use of technological and statistical tools for an evidence-based election observation. And under this project, we're going to be deploying observers through a representative random sample of polling units across Ondo State. And the observers will use coded text messages to rapidly collect observer reports on the process as well as the official results.
All right, of course, when you get back to town, do come into the studio so you can explain how this will play out to Nigerians. Many thanks for talking to us. And that's our program tonight. Many thanks for being part of the show. Wherever you may be watching, on behalf of the team, I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.